The meaning of the movie author Orpheus on Reading 5 Minutes published 7.03. 2019 updated 7.03. 2019 Today's article is dedicated to explaining the movie Fool directed by Yuri Bykov. You are probably interested in the meaning of the movie Fool and its ending, but let's talk about everything in order. The movie, Fool, by Yuri Bykov, dedicated to the memory of Alexei Balabanov, failed at the box office for 3 weeks of showing in. The movie The Picture collected a very insignificant amount. However, now, several years later, everyone has heard and knows about the movie, and the vast majority watched it. This is due to the fact that as soon as the movie appeared in free access to the internet, it immediately showed an extraordinary interest in Russian viewers. As a result, Fool even got into the top 250 movies from the internet community Kinopask. Plot and meaning of the movie Fool. In the center of the plot is a poor young plumber Dmitry Nikitin, who together with his wife lives at his parents' house. His work brings little money. Moreover, Dmitry in parallel with his work gets higher education, which also has to be paid for. This situation creates an unhealthy atmosphere in the house. The wife and mother are constantly dissatisfied with men who think more about the public good, about others, but do not want to do anything for their family. At least that is how the women see the situation. It seems to them that Dmitry could use his official position and bring home more money through illegal activities, but brought up by his father, a man with the most honest beliefs in life, the young man does not want to even hear reproaches from his wife and mother. During another inspection of the house, which is on Dmitry's list, he discovers a terrible crack in the building of a dormitory, which houses more than 800 people. Having some knowledge in the field of construction, Dmitry makes calculations at home and realizes that in just a few hours the building will simply collapse, burying in the rubble and all the residents of the house. The man believes that he has no right to keep silent about this and let everything, through sleeves, through an acquaintance of his mother he learns where the entire city administration is now. They are celebrating the anniversary of the mayor of the city, on holidays all, and the head of law enforcement and the heads of health and fire systems. Dmitry seeks an urgent meeting of all these people and finds the strength and arguments to prove that the inhabitants of the house in real danger. It is necessary to evacuate all those who are in the building to save their lives. The mayor realizes that the state of the dormitory is her personal fault. She finds the strength to admit fault and decides to evacuate the residents, but it turns out to be not so simple. Her deputy explains to her in private that he personally and many other wealthy individuals have invested a lot of money in a new residential complex where the mayor wants to move people out of the dormitory, which means that these residents have no place there. The residential complex has to pay off and bring in a lot of income, but it is impossible to move unknown and unneeded people there. As a result, the decision is made to simply blame the head of the housing and utilities system and the head of the fire department. And in order not to start a fake case, they are simply called to evacuate the people together with Nikitin and taken outside the city to kill them and report that they have escaped. Standing without jackets at gunpoint, the officials realize that their entire lives have been lived wrongly, realize their guilt and ask their executioners to release the plumber along with his family. Nikitin gives his word that he will leave town that very night and no one will ever hear about this story again. This is how this story should have ended, because it becomes clear to everyone around that one is not a warrior in the field. The young man simply does not have enough resources to fight the system that existed long before his birth and will live after him. His wife, Masha, is scared. His mother and even his father realize that this is the only chance to save Dmitry's life. They are all worried about him. However, the young man does not see in himself the strength to simply forget about the people who do not even suspect the danger that threatens them. And at this point it is worth looking at the inhabitants of the dormitory, which there seeks to save the principal plumber. These characters were drawn point by the director. The viewer got acquainted with several families from this house, their live drunkards, cruel husbands who organize daily massacres of their wives and children, teenagers who hang out in the entrance and are not interested in anything. And these marginalized individuals, who do not even see the future and do not plan, wants to save, perhaps at the cost of his life. Dormitory. In the final scene of the movie, the plumber dies, beaten by the people he wanted to save. The picture is quite ambiguous. On the one hand, of course, we all understand that the emergency situation arose due to the negligence of the city administration, which is interested only in profit, but on the other hand, we see people who do not need help. We can argue that they simply did not have the opportunity to get another development of life. They were unlucky, but Dmitri comes running to save them. He leaves his wife on the way to life to evacuate the inhabitants of the collapsing house, and they instead of gratitude, beat him up and go back to their business. Do people who don't need help need help? In general, the movie has a sharp social orientation and makes you think. Write your meaning of the movie Fool in the comments. We will be looking forward to it. Admin.